All right, DK Nation, here we go. 30 seconds. Collin, Sherwin, Seth Varnadore. We're going to fly through our picks for conference championship weekend. This is how we see these 10 games on the board. We're going to ignore USC Cal because you're doing it too. Here are the rules. We each get 30 seconds to take our pick, make our pick. Why we are making our pick, we're going to go right down the board. We're going to start with Friday night, Western Kentucky in the final UTSA for the Conference USA Championship. We're going to fly down the board. Here it is. Here's the clock. 30 seconds. Seth, and go.
I'm going to go Western Kentucky -3. I know they lost the first time they played at home to UTSA, but they seem to be on different trajectories. UTSA's played a few close games the last 3 or 4 weeks. Western Kentucky's kind of kept progressing throughout the year, and they have that unbelievable offense. I will take them to cover the -3. Over is probably also in play here at 72.5 on that fast track.
You got in under 30. I agree. Western Kentucky just on momentum is just flying right now. And UTSA the last 3 weeks has really struggled. They struggled with we all saw what happened, in their last game of the season against North Texas. But the real problem was 2 weeks ago when they played Southern Miss. Southern Miss is a terrible, terrible football team. You cannot play that team that close. It's really bad. Pac-12 championship, Friday night, as it should be. Utah, Oregon. It should be a classic. It's in Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. Let's go. And 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm going to take. I'm going to take another favor. I'm going to take Utah under a field goal -2.5. Physical beatings, that doesn't change in 3 weeks or whatever it's been. If they kind of physically dominated a few weeks ago, you'd think it would be happening coming up here. I think under is also a possibility in this game with two pretty decent defenses. But I'll take Utah -2.5.
Completely agree. I knew this was going to happen because we sort of see the same things when we watch football games, or at least the lead up. Utah mauled Oregon at the point of attack. You don't solve that in 3 weeks. Kyle Whittingham's got a really, really good team. And I think if we were starting the season right now, that is one of the 7 or 8 best teams in the country for sure. Oregon has just proven that they sort of got hot in one game, but if you lose to Stanford, I don't care how many players were missing that day, you can't lose Stanford. Like they're just not that talented.
They might be an Oregon State loss from being in some playoff consideration here. I think they're that close because of the quarterback switch, but
can't quite get there.
Nope.
We have Kent State, Northern Illinois, MAC championship. Seth, 30 seconds. Go.
Another favorite. I like Kent State -3.5. Rocky Lombardi was hurt last week. I'm not sure what his status is. Quarterback for Northern Illinois. Kent State beat them. Neither team plays defense, so over would be a pretty good play here. But Dustin Crum is a really good player. Kent State's finally found their offense once they got back in conference play. So I like them to go ahead and finish it off and win the MAC.
Agree on over. In fact, I'm not even going to pick a side. I'm taking the total here over 74.5. The reason they are indoors, they are on a fast track. These teams have been playing out in crappy weather all season. And now they get on the indoors in the Dome and Ford Field. That should just be a license to run up and down and march.
Are you allowed to score points in Ford Field?
That's a good question.
No.
I think our Lions fans they're gonna have to get the mojo out of the stadium to get to make the MAC championship game worth watching. But yeah, I like over here as well. These two teams, and the only reason this number is so low is because they've both been a little bit down offensively. You're not going to be down offensively in your conference championship game. That doesn't happen. Baylor, Oklahoma State. 30 seconds are on the clock. Go.
I feel like a square, but I'm going Oklahoma State. Another favorite -5.5. I think with Baylor starting quarterback possibly being out, I think he's confirmed out. Oklahoma State's defense is really good, and they've got a chance to make the playoff, I think, if they win. So I think they're going to come out and play with their hair on fire. They just got Lincoln Riley to run away to California, so they got to be feeling pretty good about themselves. So I like them -5.5. I think their defense is going to carry them.
Au contraire, not so fast, my friend. Baylor +5.5, and here's why I am on the sharp side of this game. Blake Shapen, not Sharpen, Shapen, backup for Jerry Bohannon, 39 of 58 this year for 416 yards and 2 touchdowns. The drop-off is not that severe. He does not have the running ability of Bohannon. He's not built like a truck like Bohannon. I'm a Dave Aranda stan. I think giving this guy time to put together some sort of way to stop Spencer Sanders he's got enough. And believe me, if he's looking ahead 3 weeks to figure out when he's got to kick an extra field goal to get into this championship game in the first place, he's been putting a plan together for how to stop Oklahoma State for a while. I'll take Baylor in the 5.5. Mountain West championship game, Utah State, Logan Bonner, San Diego State, Greg Bell. Who you got?
This might be an underplay here. Utah State's pretty good on offense, but San Diego State's defense is so good. One of the best in the country in almost every metric you could look at, especially the advanced metrics. So I think they'll be able to hold that Utah State offense down, and they haven't been great on offense themselves. They'll probably do just enough to win. So maybe under 50 here might be a good play.
I'm going to take a side here. I liked it more at 5.5, but I still like it at 6. I like San Diego State here, like a good old square. Lucas Johnson was the starting quarterback for San Diego State from this season. He couldn't move them. You'd watch these games, and I believe me, I watch a lot of late night Mountain West football. And you're like, if this kid could do anything, this San Diego State team's pretty good. All of a sudden, Brookshire comes in second quarter last week, drives him down the field. I think he was 11 of 15 for like 190 yards and a touchdown, and he ran for another touchdown. He was moving the ball with his feet and with his arm. They looked like a completely revitalized team. I don't know how this kid lost out for the starting job in the first place, because he was clearly the better quarterback. So with momentum, and like you said, that San Diego State defense is lights out. Give me the Aztecs out to win a conference championship and not play a game within 100 miles of campus all year. What an accomplishment. We move on. App State, Billy Napier's last game, probably, because I don't think he's going to coach the ball game for Lala. Who you got?
I'm going to go with new Florida Gators coach Billy Napier and his Raging Cajun crew +3. They beat App State at home earlier this year. They beat them last year on the road. They've played them pretty well since he's been there, I think, especially the last couple of years. So give me Louisiana +3.
The journey ends for Billy Napier and Lala with another conference championship for the Raging Cajuns. They have not looked sharp the last 3 weeks, quite honestly. But now there's some finality and divinity to what they're doing. And that the talent gap, let's face it, the talent gap between Lala and App State is just massive. App State does a lot of good things. They play really well. They don't really recruit really well. Lala just has better players. SEC championship, Georgia, Bama. It was -4. Now it's -6.5. You got dogs or tied with the points.
I still like Georgia. This is going to be a total inverse of last year's SEC championship, where you're in the 90s. I think that it's going to be a low total. 49.5 is pretty low though, with the amount of skill players both these teams have. That scares me a little bit, but I just think Georgia is going to be able to get Alabama in a bunch of third and longs, and you don't want to be in a bunch of third and longs against this Georgia defense. Alabama is 108th in the country in sacks allowed, 111th in tackles for loss allowed. Georgia's top 5 in both of those on defense. Not a good recipe for success. I like Georgia -6.5.
I have Georgia -4. I've already spent the money. I'd play this up to 9.5. I swear to God. I can't believe I'm betting against Alabama like this. Kirby Smart has his opportunity to take the Undertaker shovel at the 50-yard line and put this team that has just tortured him since he took the job in Athens, since he was a player, once and for all. Bury it right there in the middle of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You could not possibly get more jacked up. And quite frankly, you watch these two teams play, it does not look like they're playing the same sport right now. Alabama just does not look sharp defensively. They're not getting off the field the way that you normally see these 5-star talented Alabama defenses do. This just looks unbelievable. Now, to be fair, I am no Stetson Bennett stan. I am not sure about this kid in the long run, but I don't think it matters. I don't think Bama scores more than 10 points in this game.
You want a fun Stetson Bennett stat?
Oh,
in terms of EPA for the year, he is above Matt Corral.
That's terrible. It's
He's
just
top 20 in the country.
I no longer believe EPA take it out of our spreadsheets. Cincinnati versus Houston. Conference championship game at Nippert. Since he's trying to stay in the top 4, make a little history, make a little money for the American Conference. Who you got?
I'm going to go under 53. I think both these defenses are pretty good. I think Cincinnati's probably obviously they're going to try to pour it on, but Houston's got some skill guys. They've got a talented defense as well. They've got a really well thought of defensive coordinator, Doug Belk, that is auditioning for some bigger jobs. So I think they're going to play pretty well on defense. So give me under 53. I think it might be a low scoring game.
I hate this game more than literally any other game on the board. I just can't find it. It's such a ton. I think these numbers are like right about perfect. 53 sounds good. 10.5 sounds good to me. I will not be betting this game in any way, shape, form, or capacity, but I'm with you. If you're going to do a side under 53, weather might be crappy this weekend in Cincinnati. That helps too. Pitt, Wake, just as we expected in the ACC championship game in Charlotte at this season. You and I both picked that before the season started. We both had
Wake. Lost audio.
Great. Yeah, we just can't. We'll pull it up later. We'll find it. We'll get it to you on Twitter. Who you got?
Give me the over.
Wow.
Both these teams average 80 plays a game, and neither of them can play defense. So I'm just going to go out there and let's take a shot at it. Let's go over here. Both teams have got. Wake Forest has had some big total games this season. Pitt's the same way. I think if I had to pick a side, I'd go with Pitt just because I think their defense is a little bit better, but they're not great either. So I'm going to go over. I think that pace, if they both play at that pace of 80 plus plays, you can see a lot of points.
I'm going to be the square here. I'm going under. It's 74.5 outdoors. Just seems
71 and a half.
I got 74.5 here, don't I? Is that actually makes a difference to me?
That's the MAC.
Oh, you're right. You know what? I didn't did I transpose? I don't know what I did. Okay. I had it 74.5. At 71.5, I'm going to stay away. I punt there. But yeah, gun to my head, give me Pitt, I guess. I don't like either of them, honestly. No. This is another game where anything can happen. I'm not going to be surprised by any of it.
I think the only thing, to me, the only thing I can count on is neither team's very good at defense. Neither team. And both teams are very good at offense. So if that's the only thing I can count on, I'll go with the over.
So over 71.5. Yeah.
It's tough, but
that's so bad.
That's the only thing I can see. I don't know. I would pick Pitt if you had to pick a side, though. I think they're the better team overall, but Wake's been able to score just about on everybody. So,
yeah. And but by the way, Wake coach of the year candidate there. Really, I'm going with Aranda, but he's right there. So we're going Michigan, final game on the board. I'm going to go first on this one. 30 seconds on the clock. I have Michigan winning 52-10. I think they absolutely take Iowa and put them in a dirt nap. I think that this is a moment for not only the university, but for the state. I think what Michigan showed last week is they can just blow you off the ball at the point of attack like no other team in America and just pave you. And the teams that pave you translate home, road, wherever. You can run the ball, you can run the ball. This Iowa team, they can do some things, but they can't stop this. This is going to be a paving. Michigan, huge.
Yeah, I agree. I like Michigan minus 10.5. The only reason I wouldn't go on the total is just because, like you said, it could be turned into a blowout, I think. And that would, but I don't think Iowa's going to score very much. Right. I think Michigan, really early in the season, Iowa had a bunch of success with turning people over and getting points off turnovers. If Michigan just plays their run heavy game and they don't turn and they don't fumble, that they don't really put the ball at risk too much. So that's going to make it a little bit tougher for Iowa. Their offense is terrible. Michigan's got a really good defense too. So yeah, give me Michigan minus 10.5.
So that makes our final four for the championship: Georgia, Michigan, Cincinnati. Who's your fourth?
My fourth, probably Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State. So Oklahoma State gets in, and that means that Notre Dame, without that 13th data point, gets left out. Seth, this was wonderful. I'm with you, by the way. That's exactly 154. Seth, this was great. I enjoyed this. I'm handing you $1. $1, Mortimer. You get to bet $1 in any game this weekend. What's your favorite?
I guess Georgia. I think Georgia or Michigan. I think both those teams. The Michigan spread. If it was Ohio State instead of Michigan, what would the spread be? I feel like it's being kind of tamped down a little bit.
You know what? Honestly, the way that these numbers work, I think it would kind of be like a pick. Honestly, like I just the way that these guys set lines, even after seeing what we saw last week, I think it'd be like pick in that or within a field goal. Clearly within a field goal either way. Who knows? People are still going to believe in the talent of Ohio State, even though they just saw with their own two eyes what they just saw with their own two eyes.
I'm saying if Ohio State replaced Michigan in the game, it was Ohio State, Iowa. Like I feel like if it was Ohio State playing Iowa, it would be a 2-touchdown spread. Yeah, 17 and Michigan just went out and mauled. I know the transitive property doesn't necessarily work, but that was a mauling.
Yeah,
this is a really good Michigan team. I think they're being undervalued. So. Maybe Michigan. Maybe I was thinking Georgia, but maybe Michigan because I think they're undervalued here.
I think Michigan's undervalued too. If I had to put $1 on it, and maybe I will. I don't know. I might be feeling festive. I'm either going Georgia or Michigan as well. I will probably. I can't believe I'm going to say this. You know what? The Saban magic just scares me enough. All right, give me Michigan. It just, there's just some until I see Kirby do it. Just give me what I know is true, which is Michigan's ability to run the ball is just going to dominate that game. So the only thing that scares me is Harbaugh tends, there's defenses tend to back off and play prevent. The back door is going to be wide open, especially if you're laying the hook. We are done. Seth, this was fun. We'll get it up there. Enjoy the conference championships this weekend. We'll have a lot more coverage for you at DK Nation. Enjoy the games.